All right, welcome, guys. We have the Monday market report for the week ending November 11th. No, it's not November 11th. Don't pay any attention to that. Actually, this is for the week ending November 30th, 2025. All right, so typo aside, oh, Sean, you gotta stop living in the past, man. No, seriously, that's just a typo. So November 30th, this yesterday. Today is December 1st. So we're going to be taking a look at the last 7 days of some of the more relevant graded coins. We typically look at moderns, so anything from the year 1900 all the way up to the current date for the Monday market report. We are going to be taking a look at data pulled off of greatcollections.com, who is the auction provider for the coins you're about to see here in a few moments. So here we are, Thanksgiving, come, done, and gone. We have 30 days left, essentially, in 2025. Things are going to get kind of wild and crazy over the course of the next 4 some odd weeks. As we kind of like wind down 2025, get ready for what is going to be just an insane year. 2026, 250th anniversary, and all of the celebration and hoopla that goes along with that. Of course, we're still living in the moment of the end of the Lincoln Cent as far as new production is concerned. That is also pulling a lot of the market today. And then there is also that crazy auction going on currently on Stack's Bowers for the Omega Cents, the final production, including the 24 karat gold piece that they had made in tandem with these other coins. There's a lot of things going on right now that's really having a huge effect on the market. Some of you might say it's very positive. Some of you might say it's very negative because it's making things wildly expensive. Whatever your thoughts are, there is a lot of things going on right now. And of course, the precious metals market over the last week just simply exploded at the seams. We're knocking on the door of $60 an ounce silver. Gold's still doing its thing. We're beginning to see that ratio close up a little bit for silver and gold. So that's kind of good to see. I know folks were kind of waiting for that to happen, the anticipation. And we'll have conversations about that another time. But to get back to the graded stuff here today, boy, one of my bigger shows so far. And, November 11th, was like 3 weeks ago. It seemed like a blur. It was actually November 12th, the day after November 11th, where the treasurer, Brandon Beach, had struck the final Lincoln Cent forever. I can't even believe I'm still saying that, even though that was like 3 weeks ago, where we're still living in the moment. All right, so I thought I'd let you guys know. It's Cyber Monday. For us at Blue Ridge Silverhound, it's Cyber Week. We have 3 big shows. We have our first one tonight. We are bringing back BU original bank wrap rolls of Lincoln sets. Due to popular demand, probably we might be seeing, I thought I wouldn't be selling anymore, but, Cyber Monday and pre-holidays is kind of a big deal. We got some great big deals on those. So if you guys have some of those referral, or not the referral, but the sign-up coupons, you're $15 off when you signed up, and you haven't used it yet, now might be the time. Because we're going to have some pretty nice, insane stuff for the show here this evening, which will be at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. I can't wait to come back after being off for nearly 2 weeks. It'll be good to see you guys. If you haven't joined up, what are you waiting for? Everybody is signing up onto this platform. And a lot of your favorites on YouTube as well. Already been there, done that. They are there as well. Go ahead, sign up. You can use that QR code. I also have the links down below in the description box. Make it a little bit easier if you like using that. You get $15 off your very first purchase, and it's automatic. You don't have to do anything special. There's no coupon code you need to use. It's automatic. So, and then we're going to have some really great buy it now items on tonight's stream, in which we have never had. Can't wait to do that as well. Should be a lot of fun. All right, well, let's go ahead and do this because we have a nice hefty list. Some great stuff. Starting out with this big chaser. If you guys have been living under a rock, there are a number of these missing mint mark proof coins that you can find in the proof sets. 1990 is a big one. And big one because there's a no S mint mark 1990 Lincoln cent. And here it is, graded by PCGS. Proof 68 red, deep cameo, which most of them are going to be deep cameo because of the year. It's much better quality all around. But as you can see, it says no S, FS 101. So the mint folks inadvertently left the mint mark off of the dies. The working die, rather, not dies. They only did it with one die, and they didn't make a whole ton of them either. So there are a few 1990 Lincoln cents that's missing the San Francisco mint mark. Because as you guys know, these proof coins are produced at the San Francisco facility. And always have been, always will, since 1968 or whatever that year was. So, always look out your proof sets. As a matter of fact, this individual, before they consigned the cent, had the whole entire set graded. The Lincoln cent, unfortunately, being the one that is not the same grade as all the others. Proof 69 Deep Cameo would certainly elevate an already awesome coin. This one, this group here, actually, was sold as 5 coins, all graded, for $3,937.50. A Proof 69 red, no S, I believe goes for about $5,000. And that's based off of the previous sale from earlier in the year. It's still very, very expensive, very valuable coin. If you're able to find one, you can even, sell it in the original mint packaging without even grading them for a few $1,000s. So definitely a lot of liquidity, a lot of equity here as well, a lot of money that can be made. And such a beautiful set. I'm glad that they graded it all. It's just a shame that the Lincoln cent didn't get a 69 as well to kind of keep things consistent. Next one that we have here, some of these might be familiar. We did a few shorts videos on these in the last day or two. 1970s Lincoln Memorial set. This one is also a proof coin. And if you think that you could only find the small date variant on the business strike coins, think again. There's this one you could also find on the proof coins as well. So it's going to suffer a lot of the same anomalies that the business strike coin has. Generally a little bit weaker strike, especially to be seen on like the word liberty, like this one right here. You can tell it's not completely fully struck, which is one of the markers for the small date. Another thing to keep in mind, the inner curl of the 9 and the date will be pointing more to the right than it would be pointing down. There is actually a type style difference between the small and large date number 9s. A lot of folks like to kind of shave off the top of the 7 and 0 to see if they line up. That is not the most reliable way of figuring out the small date. I like the markers that I use. Now this one, much more like it. Proof 69 red. My goodness, what a gauntlet of a grade. Deep cameo by PCGS, and you can see it says small date right on there as well. How about a sale of $6,300 to finalize that one? What a beauty that is. And we also had another proof, Lincoln. How about 1960? But this isn't the small date, which is a little bit more desirable. This is actually the large date variety, which is plentiful in its own way. However, this one gets a lot of credit for its grade. It's 1 point away from perfection. As you guys know, in the Sheldon grading scale, 70 is the perfect grade, and that's usually reserved for most like proof and special strikes. Very rarely do we see that on a business strike coin. However, this one right here is a proof in a proof 69 deep cameo, large date. But boy, is it clean. And it's got the frost. And it's got the just deep, dark, mirrored fields on there. Just a really, really nice appearance to it. Very clean. This one right here ended up selling, by the way, for $3,949.88. Again, probably one for the registry set crowd. I wouldn't say that this one at this grade level is the kind of investable coin that you would want to put money into, because the registry set is highly dependent on top pops and things of that nature. So while there's still an opportunity to find another one that could grade out to 69, that'll of course affect the values of all the other coins currently in a 69, and that's why I say it's not investable. Now we're into business strikes here. How about 1954? Again, this coin might look familiar because we did a shorts video on this in the last 24 hours. This one is a rarity in grades above mid-state 66. Okay, Philadelphia 1950s coins are quite the chase. They are a treasure hunt of pure stupidity. Because if you wanted to simply lose some time in your life that you'll never get back, you're going to want to look through Philadelphia minted 1950s Lincolns. Because outside of that, there's not a whole lot of stuff to find. Maybe the occasional double to die, on a 55. But overall, if you're going for bust and you're looking for one of these top pop grades, then, good luck. It's not for everyone. I know that. But the to the winner goes the spoils. If you're able to find any of these dates, Philadelphia, in a 67 or higher, you are going to cash in pretty big. This one, by the way, selling for $6,530.62, showing once again just its sharpened kind of knife blade action of the auction here for the 1950s Philly coins in a 67 or higher. 1949. Okay, we can't really say the same to the 1940s because they're all generally very well struck. This is a very unique piece. It's got kind of like a different colored kind of nebulous planchet toning to it, which is quite interesting. This one, by the way, in a 67 red, doesn't command nearly as much money, but it is still very relevant for any registry set that needs it. This one, by the way, hammering for $1,902.38. Here's another 43S. Okay, we had a 43S last week. Here's another one here in Edmond State 68, if I'm not mistaken, same exact grade. Great Collections has been consigning a fair amount of 68 and 68 plus grade Steelies. Okay, they're all very general, well struck coins. Not really anything that you have to worry about here with these things. Just making sure that it's a very strong strike, which most of them are. And this one right here collected a sale of $2,487.38, a nice price tag, even without CAC certification, which we generally see a lot of on these. 1935, nice middle date is what I call this one. Nice high grade too, mid-state 68 red. I bet there were a few registry set people waiting on the wings when this one was closing in on auction there in the last few moments last night. This one, however, another big stifling sale of $6,300. Again, we're trying to kind of like make some sense of what this market is doing on these coins because they are so crazy. The prices on them continue to jump up with the whole penny apocalypse effect is what I call, the end of the penny and, just really dragging the market up higher across the board to, original bank wrap stuff to singular coins and high graded specimens and varieties and things like that. There's no coin currently immune to it. Anybody is jumping on these, even if they're participating in a registry set or not. This one, by the way, selling for $6,300. Another beastly mode coin there. 31S, great key date, sub-million mintage figure. I mean, this one needs no really big introduction. Mid-State 66 plus red is very impressive. What's missing is maybe a CAC sticker. Maybe it was sent. It didn't quite fit the, fit what it needed to get a cat green sticker. Nor did it, was it able to hit 67. But that's okay. It's a beauty and very pricey one at that. $8,268.75 was the finale on there. And final 1 cent coin on the list. How about a nice early branch mid piece here, 1913D? A date. There's a lot of dates that we just don't see enough of on the secondary market. 13D, 12D, 12S, 13S, 14S, 15D. These are all dates, ladies and gentlemen, that I'm sure a lot of us are kind of, yearning for supreme graded examples. This one right here coming in mid-state 66 plus red. Delicious. Consider this one a big old piece of pecan pie or pumpkin, whatever your flavor is. This thing is a beauty. CAC certified as well. This one ended up selling for $18,286.88. It's not the finest grade, but it's one that's highly investable, and it's going to be a very expensive coin for years to come. Now we're on to nickels. Now, nickels showed up this week. They showed up and showed out. Okay, 1948, first one on the list. Generally a very well-struck date with somewhat average luster. This one graded by NGC, mid-state 67 with 5 full steps. I'm okay with that. A little bit of what I consider to be album toning. Not the most attractive nor the flattering, but it's got that kind of goldish russet brown, very light coloring on there. This one, by the way, is selling for $1,181.25. Jefferson Nichols, I have a feeling, will awaken here. Probably not until maybe 2027, once Lincoln Cents become way too out of touch of reality, price-wise and value-wise. Folks are going to be looking for alternatives. Now, Jefferson Nichols, in some instances, is not the most, I guess, affordable coin to collect into as far as registry is concerned, but it's going to get some new fans here in about 2 years. So, something to be on the lookout for. 1944S. Now we're into a few Silver War dates. This thing is nutty. 1944S, little light toning on there. Graded by PCGS in a mid-state 67 plus full steps. Part of the Escalante collection, a very ritzy, high-end, exotic collection. I'm sure of really, really beautiful original pieces with a little bit of toning on there. I've seen a few Escalante pieces, and they are quite magical. They are magical. It's something to behold. This one right here, always a fan favorite of the collectors, selling for $4,170.38. And a 43S as well, popping up on the list. Also with some of the light toning on there, suggesting that it could have been in an album to get what you see here. And mid-state 68, 5 full steps by NGC was the grade on that one, and a sale of $1,828.12. I would say, looking at these two war nickels here, the steps deserved the full steps designation. They were some of the strongest looking steps I've seen, bar none. All right, we did have a couple buffaloes, and my goodness, this is probably the best 37D 3 legs that I've seen all year. Call it 2025, the best one. Best 3-legged buffalo of the year. And believe it or not, NGC gets the credit for the grading in mid-state 66. This thing is nutty. I mean, if you're digging this coin and the lore about it, how it just simply exists, and people were finding these back in the day, and they're still finding them today. This is the one that appeals to a wider audience and, say, registry set coins by far. This one right here, commanding a big price, selling for $29,449.12. Glad to see and witness one of these being sold at least sometime in 2025. Here it is in December. Couldn't have come at a perfect time, I guess. 1920, not at all a tough date, but it's early enough that it is, it's one that not a lot of people can look for very easily, especially in pure raw mid-state fashion. Oftentimes you're going to have to buy a graded example because most of them are graded to begin with, but a mid-state 67 is just a superior grade for even this date, and because of that, a sale of $5,461.88 was what it captured, and I ain't hating. That is a nice one there. And of course, I'm actually digging this one. Surprisingly, it came out at only a VG10. Usually at this grade level, most of the date is pretty well worn away. But if you're going to find probably one of the biggest varieties in US type, the 1918 over 7D Buffalo Nickel, this is the one that you probably want to find because you could see the date very legibly. You can even see the flat top 7 and also the that diagonal bar going through the 8. It's very clean and concise, even in a grade of VG10, which I think is more heavily weighed on the reverse. The reverse doesn't show up as well as the obverse. The obverse looks more like maybe a fine 15. And that's when we're talking like the lower end of the spectrum of numerical grading, that's actually a pretty big difference there. But man, I would have loved to find something like this in this grade. This would have been like the perfect example if you're looking for a what I call like a very visual, very, I guess, acceptable piece that has a lot of meat on it, where you can actually see the variety. This one, by the way, I feel like was a bargain. $1,380.38. I've seen these sell for so much more in very similar grades. So, I'm not saying that this one fell through the cracks. I'm just saying it just became a little bit better of a deal for a rarity. Boy, this thing's stunning. 19090 Barber dime, which turns out to be the only dime on the list for the Monday Market Report this week. Not November 11th, by the way, but November 30th. We don't cover too many New Orleans coins, okay? And that's understandable. The only other New Orleans coins we could talk about is maybe another Barber quarter or a $50, perhaps the occasional 1904 or 1903 Morgan dollar, But this one right here is, my goodness, my heart skipped a beat when I saw this because I love, especially the reverse, the color, the originality, in all of a time of U.S. history where these things were just used. They were used and abused. They were truly the workhorse of early U.S. type. This one, by the way, selling for $3,214.12. I wish I would have had that kind of money. If I had that kind of indispensable income, no doubt about it, this one would be heading to my mailbox tomorrow. We are on to quarters, just like that. 1962, Philly. And this one's just bright and shiny. If you're all about blast white without toning, this one's for you. But it's incredibly clean. Like, I'm sitting here looking at this thing, there's not too much in the way of, like, major contact marks. And the little ticks that you would normally find, like planchet flaws, you don't see them on here as well. NGC graded this one, Mid-State 67 plus, CAC certified as well. And it's sold for $1,407.38. And then we also have its little brother, the 1961 version here. This one, I would say, a little bit better pick of the litter because of the toning. And a little bit tougher date as well. Mid-State 67. A little bit lower grade, CAC certified as well, but not light on the sold price. This one actually did a lot better than the previous coin. Even that one was half a grade point higher. How about $2,418.75 was the conclusion on this one. We have more to come. How about 54D? If I didn't know any better, these things were sitting right next to each other in the same album. The toning is similar, not the same, but they're close. Light, very light toning on these. Mid-State 67 plus, CAC certified as well by PCGS, and a big price tag of $3,600. A couple earlier Standing Liberty quarters, 24S. Very tough date. Tougher than it looks. Now, it's not a 23S, it's not a 27S. Those are credited as being two of the much more scarcer dates, especially if you're looking for full head, which this one is. And PCGS gave it a Mid-State 65 plus, full head, CAC certified as well, and a sale, one of the biggest of the week, of $33,735.38. But not to be outdone, of course, by the big key date, the 1916. Only 52,000 of these were ever made, and probably a survival rate of about maybe 65-70%. I'm sure a good fair amount of them in lower grades without any readable date or melted, probably in the 70s, 80s, 90s, possibly during the recession, 2010, 2011. So, yeah, I mean, enjoy it while it's here, but we don't encounter high-end examples like this Mid-State 64 full head, CAC certified, as if it deserves a Mid-State 65 grade. But $39,067.88 was what it sold for. All right, this one is much bigger than we believe. I've actually found a couple of these over the years, and it just took our good old friend Adam Chambers, you guys know him as Coins and Ghouls, to find this one, grade it, and just hit it out of the park. A big coin with big money. I sound like, Tarzan there for a second, because, there's very little we need to say about this one. It's from the Special Mint set, 1966, doubled die Avars. This is the doubled profile, FS102. There are a few DDOs. This is, I believe, the toughest one out of them all, but it did get a grade of SP67+, which just seems like, for what this type of strike is, kind of average, but not the price. $2,025 was a heavy hitter for our good old boy Adam on this one, and he said that he was more than shocked that this one ended up selling for what it did compared to the few other coins that he also had consigned with great collections here last week. So kudos, Adam. That's a beautiful, beautiful coin. I'm a little jealous now. 1964 candy half dollar. This one, a beautiful, deep, almost deep cameo. There's a little bit of lightness in the shield of the heraldic eagle on the reverse. That probably knocked it down a peg, and that's why it only got a grade of Proof 68 cameo by NGC. But this is the accented hair version. They changed up the little hair design right above the ear there on Kennedy. Enjoy it while it lasts, guys, because this design right here is going away after this year. They're doing a full redesign for the 250th anniversary, and then 2027, brand new design with Kennedy looking to the right rather than the left, I guess. That's what I've heard. So this one right here, a nice sale of $1,631.25. It could get a lot more pricier than that. Deep cameo, Proof 69. There might be a Proof 70 in existence for this one. And the final coin, the big dog right here, the Bicentennial Philly Ike dollar, Type 1 reverse with the big old block letters. And that's a reverse die that was originally intended for the 40% silver uncirculated. So they used them to produce the clad business strikes, and a lot of them were dirtbag quality, not gonna lie. Even I had a hard time trying to find some good examples of this one, and there's just not a whole lot of them out there, which stands the reason why this one ended up selling for $3,000.38. I am looking down the list, like everything ended in 88 or 38. It was kind of weird. Like the same person was bidding on everything. But, who am I to say? Mid-State 66, by the way. CAC certified. Beautiful coin. That's going to go ahead and wrap it up. I have a Cyber Monday whatnot show to prep for. I hope to see you guys there. And by the way, the info in this video is for educational use only, not financial advice. Please collect and or grade your coins responsibly. And that's going to go ahead and wrap her up for today. I'm your host, Sean, with Blue Ridge Silverhound. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and I hope you guys have a wonderful week. Happy holidays, and happy Cyber Mondaying. All right, see you guys.